and say, welcome everybody to How to Make Your Garden Sanctuary Place today. I'm Jo Maldonado and I am with the Griffin School of Practical Magic. And I am here today with everybody that's on that wants to do something magical with their garden. So the purpose of this, I'm going to share my screen with you. The purpose of this is actually to show you kind of the options. And if I can ask you all to turn your sound off, your audio off, and your video off. I think there's someone else that's still got it on.
Turn audio.
Let me check. Yep. Okay, I think it's, there you go. Good, that was Dan. Thank you. So anyway, we're back to the screen share. This is a really exciting little project because I love giving everybody a tour of what my gardens look like. And I also love sharing the concept of what I've done, kind of making things out of broken things and kind of making them, you know, into something else. So just one more time again, if I can ask you to, because I'm hearing somebody, and I think that's Dan. I'm gonna, okay. So Dan, if I can ask you to, thank you, to mute and turn your video off also, because everybody that does not have that turn off, then thank you, then it'll come up in the recording. So now we've got the front page. So I'm just going to go over page by page with all of this, and then we're going to open it up. And feel free to chat with me anytime. There's a little icon on the bottom, and you can ask questions as we're going through all this. So on the front page, everything on here is an item from my garden that I've kind of put together, and we're going to kind of do this step by step. So first is some first steps. Don't kind of say to yourself that I can't do something. Think of the world. Think of what, you know, it's limitless. Think of what you would really like your place to be. It is your sanctuary. And I really and truly look at it as my sanctuary. It is a place that I go to. Every corner of it is different. Every area has a different theme. So break free of misconceptions that you can't do this because your soil is too sandy. If your soil is too sandy, then you bring some topsoil or cow manure or horse manure in. You know, or if you don't have any trees, plant some trees that grow fast. So don't think that you're limited if your place is really small. You know, you can make it so cozy and so magical, and putting up little twinkling lights. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. So your guides and your allies are your guiding hands. So I work a lot with, you know, with angels, with my guides, with my allies, whoever's out there. I'm like, hey, you know, I can use an extra hand. So that's very, very common in my world. You will see a picture actually on the right here. That is a corner shot of my bathroom. So it was a blank wall, and I have two windows on the other side. I just took two old lead windows that I got at an estate sale years ago because I keep everything. I put a frame in that area. I put a picture that I actually created in Photoshop. So it's not a real forest. It's a forest that I put together. Had it sent out, and it has a removable background. So if you're going to do anything with images that you want to bring inside and put them up on your wall, I suggest a removable background. And I've unpeeled and put the sky in a couple different places. I have a beach scene, then I have a forest scene. And then I just close the windows, and I have all three walls that are all nice and outdoorsy. Talk to the elements. I talk to the elements. I talk to the water. I talk to the earth. I talk to the fire. I talk to the air. And, you know, those of us that practice shamanism or practice other worldly kind of events, that you'll know that it kind of brings you into another realm, to a different mindset. If you know how to do a journey, you know, do a journey with your land and see what would be really good. It's amazing. A journey is like a meditation, actually. So if you do a little meditative / journey, you're going to come up with a whole bunch of different things that would have not possibly presented themselves if you didn't do that. talk to the guides, talk to the elementals. Well, I'm a big fairy person. I love fairies. My granddaughter adores fairies, and it's her birthday today. And of course she had to get fairy stuff, but I love fairies because, you know, it's that other world out there. So what I do is in my garden of whimsical things, I put a lot of fairy things. I have fairy statues. I have little fairy gardens that I've created, which I'll share with you. So the next question is, how would you like your space to feel? Do you want it to be all Zen-like? You know, do you want to be meditative? Do you want to be quiet? Do you want to read out there and just get cozy? Do you want it to be fun and loving and whimsical? It's like in the middle here, I got these little funky elves that you stick in the flower pots. I think there were like 5 or 6 of them for $2, yard sale again. And it's amazing. I stick them in my flower pots, and it's kind of funny. This guy greets you as you walk in through the front door. Do you want it to be inviting? This little flag sits right outside my kitchen windows, and my kitchen has 3 walls that are all glass, and then the kitchen table is placed right in the middle, so I can look outside my gardens on all 3 sides. So I see this flag and this great little path that I've created, which I will share with you. So the honor the dream. So this is I've done so many different things to our house. I've reconstructed, we've added, I've built, I've recreated, and I wanted to do something to the land, to our garden. I wanted it to be known for something. I don't know why. It was just, to me, it was important. Not like I had to win a prize. I just wanted to do something for our gardens that have been so good to us. So I just started, you know, planting different plants that I liked, and all of a sudden I put it out there and I said, you know, I really would like to have, you know, something special for the gardens. And all of a sudden I was gifted 2 boxes from Full Sail, which is a college around here. And they had this project called the Monarch Initiative. So what it was you got a free box, you got a couple plants, you got some seeds, you got a booklet on monarchs, what kind of plants they like, sunlight, all that kind of stuff. And it basically, all you had to do is get dirt and stick a couple more flowers in there and you were good to go. So I did that, but what I didn't realize after I read the Monarch book is that monarchs love all these different plants, and I already had them. So we went to, they had a monarch, and again, a monarch, like I think it was like a send-off that they had in our little town of DeLand. And if you came to the send-off, it was someone that did a mural of monarchs on the wall. If you came to this little send-off for the wall, actually, you would get some free bushes, you would get some information about monarchs and gardens. And the DeLand Garden Club was there. So they gave me this same booklet, actually, that said, if you have all these plants, just let us know. We'll come out, we'll inspect your gardens, and we'll let you know if you have these plants, you could be a certified monarch butterfly sanctuary. So I looked at them again, I have it all, and there's the certificate. And they're just, that's what I am. I did something for the land, and that was really great for me because I wanted to honor the land that had always been good to us. And I have all these different plants, and I have all these different, you know, monarch associated little garden trinkets that I put up. So it was really a great project, and I didn't intend for it to be a project. It just turned out to be that way. So this is like the entrance, or, you know, the front door when you come in. So coming in from the outside, to me, it's important that it stays magical. So on the left here, because our school, Griffin's Claw, is modeled after Hogwarts. Someone gifted me this whole set, the 3 broomsticks they made for us, and this hanger came with the sign that she made, actually. So that hangs in the front of the house. And then there's the front door. This house believes, of course, always. I don't know if you could see, this is, we don't have a doorbell. Our doorbell is our dragon bell, which is over here. It's a dragon holding a bell. And the door knocker actually is a lion's head that is on there. So that is also very special. I make all my own wreaths and stuff. And this is just a path. This is a blow up of our little doorbell, the dragon doorbell on the left. And on the right, of course, every property needs a warning sign protected by gargoyles. So that's in front of the house as well. Our welcome flag is the green man. I'm just muting. If you've just signed on, if you can please just mute yourself and turn off your visual too. Thank you. So over here on the left, you see the welcome flag. That's the green man. The green man represents the garden. You also see our doormat, our front doormat, which reads Enchanted Cottage. So those two things, yes, I did buy. This I did not buy. This is a protection sigil, and we actually have a recorded how to make your own sigil to protect your home class that's on our YouTube channel. But I made this. It is just a piece of slate that I found in our property, and it's made with a marker. And I don't think initially I even polyurethaned it, but again, it's in the entrance of our front yard, of our front home. So little gardens, you don't need a big space to make something enchanting and creating. I actually use anything that I can find to put dirt in it and stick a couple of plants. And over the years, people have been gifting me little fairy houses and so on. So what I do is every pot that has a plant in it has a fairy something or other, only because I've had them. I've had them forever. I just took them out, hosed them down, and they keep the plants company. So here's a little hive of a fairy house. Our welcome fairy stone, more over here. And then this actually, if you look to the right of your screen, this is a lazy Susan. So it was one I was gonna throw out, and then I thought, my motto, put dirt in it. So I did, I put dirt in it, and this was actually pieces that were left over from a fairy making class for fairy gardens that we had here at our house. So I had these items that were left over from the class. And so the garden is over here. The pumpkin is actually something that I got years and years ago. It's a candle holder. So it is now a fairy house. And of course there's a little key over there, and Hedwig BL. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask in the chat window. If not, when I finish this, then we'll open up and we can start talking about your projects. So here, again, we're focusing on little things, again, little spaces. The screen on the left, frogs and fairies. That is a very old plant marker that I had for a very long time, and it wore off. I think it said rosemary or something like that on there. So I just took my permanent marker, frogs and fairies, and made it a frog and fairy corner. And this over here is actually 3 frogs that the top frog broke off, and I got that at a yard sale. It was 50 cents. It's inside a broken pot, because I don't throw out my pots either, but you could see here that the top is broken off, and it's sitting on top of another pot. And then the frogs, and then I just stuck a plant out of the top, and that's how it grows. The fountain that you see on the right-hand side has 2 frogs in it. One frog I found on our property when we moved in, and the other frog I've just been carting around with me. And I just thought it would be cute to stick them both together. The fountain, actually, I found in pieces. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And I found it on our property when we moved in different sections of the yard. So as I was cleaning out the yard and the gardens, I said, there's the base. there's the little pole. There's a little blah, blah, blah. So all I had to do is really get a, little pump for the fountain, and it plugs away all the time. And I absolutely love it because it's very, very, very relaxing. And you could see this, so I've kind of created this whole little corner. It's only in a little tiny bit of space. So there's the fountain with the frogs. On the left are my little broken frogs. And this is a little patch of bricks. St. Francis, he's broken too. Another broken pot over there. Frog Crossing, I found that on the property also. A little fairy that I got for $1. And then, of course, my very broken lamp. It doesn't work, but it looks cute. So you see how you could put things together. You have the poles and you have the lamps and everything. And it's only, this is like maybe 4 by 5 feet area that this is all in. So you can actually recreate all of this in your little area. Let me see. I just want to check in, checks if there's anybody. Okay, so I have these journeys are also meeting our garden plants and other beings halfway. I love how you have made your garden welcoming to the bugs, not just yourself. This is very true. This is very true. And I love how I opened it up to the elements too, because when you work with the elements, when you work with bugs, you know, everything opens up. And I love ladybugs. I'm horrified that Amazon is selling them for $50 versus the 10 that I paid for a few weeks ago, but I'll find ladybugs somewhere. And someone else asked, can you list butterfly plants, please? I can look them up. They're inside that book that the garden club gave me, but I will most certainly look them up and let you know. And I'll send you a PDF file, actually. That's what I'll do. I'll send all you guys if you like that. So don't throw anything away. Correct, I don't. So here in this picture, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pots that I've got in a pile. They're just literally thrown in a pile, and some old sunflower markers that are also broken. They're all in a pile because I have 4 dogs, and I have a garden area that they like to go into and they like to dig. So what I've done is I've stacked all the pots on top of everything, right? And as I stack them, then the plants just started growing around and the dogs don't go there anymore. So they don't look bad. It kind of looks like a mishmash of something left over from another planet, I guess. But I really like that it's repurposed. The dogs don't go there is my most favorite part. So there is another question. Is there a significant protector plant that is important for front or back patio? Rosemary. Rosemary is my my go-to actually plant. And I have rosemary plants at both front and back doors. So that is my, there are others, but that is my significant protection plant that I read about it. It resonates with me, and people kept giving me rosemary plants. And also too, they're very easy to propagate. You just cut them and root them and they're good to go. Nanu has replied, anything spiky and anything that resonates with you would also be a good protector plant, which I should mention in the front of our house. I don't have a picture of that, but in front of our fenced property, I have roses, I have bougainvillea, I have aloe, and I have one other, it's a milkweed cactus plant that is actually very toxic, but it has spikes on it. So I have that in a corner. So parts of our fence got wiped out during the hurricane. I didn't want any intruders. So aside from my protection sigil that I have by the front door, I have all these spiky plants that are right by the fence. So if you want to climb our fence, you're going to have a little bit of an experience doing that. Here's another question here. I have a small porch, and because I rent, I can't plant except in containers, but these have been flourishing with the attention given. Yes, it doesn't matter. A lot of my plants are in containers in the lanai because outside I have 4 dogs. We have 1 acre, a little bit over 1 acre, but we have holes, we have moles, we have snakes, we have all kinds of stuff. So I've allowed nature to take its course in parts of our garden, which I'll show you. And in other parts of the garden, you know, I kind of cleared a little area. But a lot of my plants are in containers. And I think you have to just find out what plants like what light, whether they like 1 hour of morning light or whether they like, you know, all bright light, because and heat. And here in Florida, we have heat and light, which equals very hot temperatures. A lot of plants won't do well with that. So you kind of have to experiment with your plants and see where you want them, but they will do very well on that. So on this slide over here, with the 2 dogs laying next to the fire pit, This is repurpose a space. So when we bought the house, this area was a hot tub. So the hot tub was, we're not hot tub people, so what can I say? So the hot tub got, you know, like zero usage out of it. I had a friend of mine that was looking for a hot tub, and she coincidentally had a water cooler, which I really wanted because I wanted to get good, clean, cold water all the time, or instant hot water. So we swapped. It was a big swap, taking a whole jacuzzi and hot tub out of there with all the mechanics and everything. But they took it out, and then it was just a matter of filling this area up with, it had that black screening, you know, that keeps out the weeds and everything. So that's underneath that. Weeds are still growing, apparently. You can still see it, but that's okay. This has been a while now. We just dumped a whole bunch of stone on it, and this fire pit is a kit from Lowe's. So that's really easy peasy to plant on top of it. You do have to be careful. We did not have a screen top on top of that, and this is inside the lanai. So, and our lanai is very steep, so we have that going for us. But just be cautious if you are going to put a fire pit in. But this is just, you know, again, you know, getting a place and repurposing it. And I'll get to your chat questions real soon. I just want to complete everything, so I might actually answer your question. So beliefs and guards. So I'm a big one of beliefs and guards. Protecting the property, protecting me. You know, this, I just think he's very cool. A three-headed gargoyle dog. He kind of guards our back entrance from the lanai into the house. I like him. The tree of life is just really sustainable in itself. It's the tree of life, so that speaks a message in itself. I adore owls, and this is actually a candle holder, this guy over here on the left. But he's kind of has a gargoyle kind of face to it. So he's standing next to the three-headed dog. So I've got my back area covered. No one's gonna come in there. That and 4 dogs. And then of course you've seen my warning, protected by gargoyle sign. And then the fairies. The fairies are good. They're brutal. They don't like stuff. They let you know. They love stuff. They let you know. So fairies are really, really cool to work with. Let me just go back to the chat and see. I've got plumeria pups with white flowers available. Oh, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. And let's see, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything on the chat. Okay, we're going to go back to this. So whimsy, I love whimsy. Somebody said you're very whimsical in your garden decor, and I never thought of that, but I guess I do. This wooden horse, we actually had a set of 2, and one got decomposed. And you see fairy mushroom rings around here, and there's a whole bunch of them right around where the horses are. And they're small, they're not very big. They're only about maybe 3 feet tall, made of very solid wood, but they're ancient. And I did put polyurethane on them, but as you can see here, their poor faces are like deteriorating because they're probably about 50 or 60 years old. One of them fell, so I have one left. And over here, this is my broken plant stubs, flower pots, and fairy corner and miscellaneous stuff. So over here, there's a cement cherub. There's a fairy, I think she's missing a wing. There's a mushroom that's missing the top. And there's a couple more things that are broken, but they're kind of all, they live together, and they seem to be very happy because the plants that are in this, you know, are very, they're very prolific. They flourish, they bloom, they do very well. And I talk to them too. So these guys are doing a really, really good job being together and hanging out. And then this is our my find that I, again, in a estate sale, an old antique. It's a bird feeder and bird bath. And you can't really see it on here, but what I did was I found bags of glass marbles that I had in the house somewhere for some reason. And I filled this up with glass marbles, and actually they're all colors and it looks really pretty. And then I put bird seed up here, and this is also a metal little bird. My Halloween decor usually stays up the whole time. So this is the crow, and then the pumpkin. Ignore that dog barking in the background. That's only one. So then here we have use nature to kind of help you decorate. if you have trees that are fairly large like this, they absolutely love to be surrounded by colorful flowers. And this is just some shredded pine mulch, our pine mulch, and then flowers that we got. I always go to the rescue section at Lowe's and buy my flowers there. So rescue them. But it always looks really cool. So if you have an area that, you know, even if you have flowers or plants in another part of your garden, move them over and stick them over here. Like here, I have some lavender growing. I just planted it from another area of the house. And over here, again, I collected all the flowers that were spread out in our property, and I put them all together around this little tree, and pine cones are around that. So just take what you have and use it to embellish. That's all that is, nature. And you've seen her before. She's just kind of like guiding me to do the right thing. And then grow. I try to grow as much as I can. I'm not really good at it here in Florida. I was really excellent in Pennsylvania. We're self-sustaining off our garden. And even in Michigan was hard because there was only maybe 3 weeks of summer and everything else was brutal weather. And Florida is the opposite. Everything is really hot and sandy soil. My daughter has a great self-sustaining vegetable garden. They live off their garden. She has raised beds. I don't have raised beds, but I plant things from seed. As you can see over here, cucumbers, and I believe these were peppers, and there's a couple of carrots in the back. And then I just spread them out throughout the property. And I experiment, you know, experiment with your stuff. Put some in some flower pots, put some in the ground, see what works, see what you could propagate easily. Bananas, oh my gosh, we started out with 1 banana tree and 1 plantain tree. We have a whole row of these, as you can see here. And I just went out yesterday and took a look, and it's almost banana picking time. And we'll have another batch coming in November, but we have plantains, we have regular bananas, and we have dwarf bananas also. And then here, this is beets. Now here we have some more. This looks like a zucchini, but it's not. It's a loofah plant. And I love loofah plants. See how curly they are? Sorry, I gotta switch mugs here. So over here you have, it looks like a zucchini, and it's actually edible. If you let it go and let it dry out, it becomes a loofah sponge. This is a part of the loofah plant that I adore. It's a squash plant, obviously. The curlicues over here, excuse me, and then the little yellow flowers. I'm just gonna check messages. Someone said, you and I are very whimsical. I didn't know who said that, but thank you. Once bananas take root, they multiply like rabbits. They sure do. They're crazy. Is that an angel trumpet? I guess one of the pictures I had. Well, I don't know if I have them in here. We have tons of angel trumpets, actually. Angel trumpets are very easy to propagate, but they are very highly poisonous, which is why I don't really highlight them. They are gorgeous or magnificent. When they bloom, oh my gosh, it looks like angel trumpets. But then again, every single part of the angel trumpet is poisonous to dogs, and we still have a puppy, so I got to be a little bit on the cautious side. Over here we have pineapples, and I just started that from the tops of pineapples. That's another really easy plant to grow. You just cut the top off. You don't even have to root it. Stick it in the ground. It's just like the angel trumpet. Stick it in the ground, and off it goes. Like, none of these were rooted. We should have, that is this year's crop, we should have about 15 pineapple. And it takes about 2 to 3 years for it to grow. But that's okay. You know, you got time. What else are you going to do, right? This is just pictures of paths. Paths, I think, if you have even a tiny little yard, even a 5x4 yard, you can create a little path. Over here, this is a slate path. This is another area. I found a lot of slate on our property. They must have been in the middle of a project when they moved. But So I just made paths everywhere to the back, to where the trash area is, to where, you know, our vegetables are. This is the path to the house, which I love. And anything that meanders and wanders is a good thing. So you'll see a little example of meandering and wandering over here. That's Sydney, and she's meandering and wandering along the path. And the pink flowers on there are from the bougainvillea. So they shed like crazy, but gosh, they're just so pretty. And then Wednesday, a gift given by a good friend on a little flower pot here with the mushrooms on it. Makes for a perfect centerpiece. And this is just a Lowe's plant over here. I kept it in a flower pot. It's staying small. It's not growing very large. And these are actually rugs that I got, again, yard sale, estate sale. And I use it as a throw over the table. The table itself over here was not actually looking like that. This table I refinished. It had been out in the elements for about 10 years. The top was rotted. It needed holes. And I asked someone that was had carpentry skills how much it would cost to just put, you know, a couple boards on the top, and then I would finish staining it. And she told me it'd be like $160. And I thought, okay. So I got some wood filler from Lowe's that was stained, and then I got some stain, and I stained about 3 or 4 times to get this kind of dark look, because I wanted, again, like, you know, like a Harry Potter kind of look to it. And then it had multiple coats, maybe 5, maybe 4, maybe 6, I don't really remember, of polyurethane to make it really glazy, because that's what I wanted. I was looking for a glazy top, and also to seal, like you can see what used to be a very deep hole, like the wood putty. And so I ended up with this kind of a table. So then we're talking about Zen, you know, having Zen things. So the Buddha statue we did buy, it took me a couple years to find the one that I was looking for. These are our koi fish. We have a bunch of them. We bought 2, and the rest were given to us by a friend whose fish had baby koi, and she didn't want them all. So we took like 3 of those guys there and there. And then we have a couple of goldfish that we got for $0.25. And they've been with us for about 5+ years now. So this is the Zen spot. You know, I think everybody should have a nice quiet place, even if you have a small, tiny little fountain, you know, to make it run. The sound of water is just so calming. And I just absolutely adore the fish. They, you know, we got a relationship with them. And this big one that you see floating around, not that, that's Goldie, but the one with the spots that you saw before, that's Luna. So that's, Henry and I have our own fish. So Luna Del Agua is always my fish. And she's pretty big now. Another spot that's a little Zen spot in our garden. You know, this little Buddha here was my son's Buddha. This was given to me as a gift. This, my daughter and I picked up at an estate sale for $40. And these are 2 lanterns that were sitting in the front of our house that were broken. So I kind of saved them, and they do open up. There's a little door that opens up, and I can put candles in there if I'd like to. And then we just put some river rock, and that was actually on the property. And these were also on the property. So again, I love to find things and then go, you know what? I'll have to keep that in mind next time I'm doing some redecorating. So not going to focus on it, but yes, angel trumpets. So someone asked about that. So this is just, this is an older picture when I think we had like 3 dogs or 2 dogs when they were all airborne. It's like they are very invasive, though, I will tell you that. And someone said, I love the fountain, so beautiful and relaxing. Thank you. It is my favorite place. So that the koi pond and the Buddha fountain is inside the lanai, and this is the lanai over here. And this is a little powder puff tree. It's a little bit bigger now, but it's really cool. It has pink flowers that are round, and they look like powder puffs. That's why it's called a powder puff tree. But this is where I do my yoga. You know, I just pull out the mat, and there I go. Now back to pots. So you can make oh my gosh, there's so many ideas that you could do with pots. You don't need to buy things. Again, most of the stuff I have had forever. This is actually a broken piece over here, a serving piece that I used for desserts and puddings and, you know, and punches and things like that. And the back of it is like sharp glass, but I love the piece, so I kept it. And this is actually just the base of a flower pot. So I had those glass marbles, so here they go, glass marbles over here. And again, gifts from someone about, you know, going this way to the fairy garden. Again, second level up. My imaginary elevator takes you up the chute, up here. And then you have little fences over here and just little stuff left over from our fairy house making class that we had. So that's all leftover things. Over here is, as you can see, the little tiny house growing amidst all the greenery. Over here is a broken piece, a ceramic broken piece that I kind of like, so I kept it in there. And over here again, the fairy garden. This is a broken piece from another statue. There's a head in here. I don't know if you could see that face. There's a face over here. And succulents are so great. Oh my gosh. You just break one of these little tiny leaves off of these plants and you have a whole plant. So we're constantly, you know, exchanging, well, I'm not now because I'm quarantined, but we've been exchanging little leaf petals, my daughter and I, and anybody else that is interested. Again, there's a little path over here. I don't know if you could see it. And well, the path over here is actually the marbles, and there is a path that you can't see up there. But I'm always talking about paths. Paths lead you to your destination, whatever your destination is. And this is actually a broken pot. Again, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that are broken that are just wedged in on the top, kind of, you know, with different dividers, and there's different things growing in the dividers, which kind of makes it a little bit different. So more succulents, more detail on the succulents. I think they're so pretty. I found two, again, our property had a lot of things that I found. You were probably thinking that. So over here, these are 2 clay window boxes that I found on the property. So filled them up with some good old dirt and some stones and got my succulents in there. And this is, again, someone gave me a little fairy kit. And so I took it apart and it's in pieces in different containers. So you don't need a lot of property. This is from the Harry Potter series, of course. This is Fox, and he is kind of situated inside a bird cage that I got for $5 at a flea market. I just love the architecture of the bird cage. It's so cool. And I love him sitting there. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. So I started putting air plants in the bottom. So I don't have a recent photo, but there are more air plants inside his bird cage. And that's what you can do. You have that, you know, we have these growing off of trees everywhere. Like if you go for a walk with your dogs, you see them, they're hanging everywhere. They don't need to be rooted. And somebody said, if the pot is outside, you can put a bowl with marbles and water in a shady spot for the bugs. Yay, absolutely. You know, feed everybody. And that bird cage for $5 was a steal. Someone else said, I know, isn't it gorgeous? I have more. Here's another bird cage. I think this one was like $5 too. I don't usually pay more than $5 for things like this. But I think every bird cage needs a theme. And I like different unique bird cages, and they're all outside. And I also collect miniature dragon. Like they're like kids' toys, I guess, but I really love them. So, and I think they're so cute. So over here, here's the mom. That's a close-up of her face. And yes, I do have air plants inside their cage also. And then these 2 are her kids. One is sleeping solid. He's up here sleeping again. And this one is yawning. But I thought, oh, that's kind of cute. You know, makes you kind of feel like you got little magical dragons hanging out. So if you have little statues, you know, you could put little statues inside of dishes and cups and stuff like that. Then there's, of course, loving owls. I had to look for this. I did not have this on hand. But our lawn guys, when they come to mow the lawn, they're always ripping apart my roses and all the other stuff that I have growing in the front. So I wanted to get an edging. And of course, I wanted to find an owl edging border, and I did. They had one. Amazon had it. So we got some of these, and now they just break the owl border. They don't break my plants anymore. Invite nature. Love this one. So this, I was debating. I'm like, well, what kind of bird is that? And he just kind of stuck himself very prominently on Henry's kayak up here. So he's sitting in the front. So I don't know whether someone said it was an owl. I don't think it's an owl. I think it's a hawk. I don't know what kind of hawk it is, but I had a hard time. I couldn't actually pinpoint it. Someone says, Joe, as we are whimsical, we are dragon mamas. Yay. That's funny. Oh, it's a chubby hawk. Okay, thank you. I'm like, he looks very chubby. I've never seen a hawk that chubby. Or it could be the plumage. It could be that. And then this is just, I just thought this was really cute. Again, it was a garage sale. But we have a lot of hummingbirds that come around now. And I have them captured, but I couldn't find them fast enough to put them in the presentation. But hummingbirds do come and visit us. So this is part of my furniture. This is all outside stuff. Over here on the right, this is my before and after. And if you guys follow me on Facebook, I post all my redos and remodels and remakes on my personal Facebook page. So on the right, you have on the top photo what the table looked like before, and it was clearly, it was old, it was worn, it had a needed facelift. So this is what I did with it, you know, white and black. Okay, here was a rule that I did for myself. It can only be done with materials I had on hand. That means using only the color paints that I had in the garage. I did not buy anything except for one can of sealer to make sure everything was sealed after I did it, except for this little round set. But that was my only rule. This drawing over here on top of the table, that's done with magic markers. And red-shouldered hawk. Oh, thank you. And someone else said maybe a pregnant hawk. And it looks like a hawk. It may be cold. Okay. All right. So we got the hawk answers. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. So back to the tables. You can do anything you want. If you have a plain chair you're thinking of throwing out. I found one yesterday, and I thought, I'm not going to throw it out. Something will pop into my brain. But we were going to throw all this out, and then I thought, no. So magic marker, and this was like in 3 stages because I did the painting first, and it went like this. I have more green paint than yellow paint, so green will be on the top. There was no rhyme or reason other than this is all I have. I have yellow paint, so I'm going to use it for accents. I have very little white and black paint, so very little white and black paint it is, just on those little slats, and then the polyurethane. Just like with this little table on the bottom here, you'll see this is the blow up over on this side of this table. And again, it was very icky. It was a match to this one, those colors, and this is what I decided to do. So I decided to do, this is actually a rose, red, because I had more red paint than green or yellow at that point. So I had enough red to do the top with black. I used black and silver marker that I had because I do liquid chalk art. So I had some of that left over, and I thought, why not put that on there because I can seal it. So after I did all this, it got a couple coats of the polyurethane. And then over here we have the table and all the chairs that were painted again in the colors that I had left over. And this is what it looks like, the progress. So up here, they were all black, you know, their paint was peeling. And, you know, it's just whatever colors I had on hand. And it actually looks really nice with a tablecloth or without a tablecloth. And again, just a close-up of another table that I did over here on the left, you see. And then this is stage 1. And then this is stage 2. And then the final stage with the decor on top of it, just like this little table with the decor on top of it. And some of you have seen my mailbox makeover, plain mailbox, and then, you know, I went big, and it has a different different mural on each side. So the front is really big letters, 2105. That's our address. This is Edmund. Edmund is our gargoyle, who people think is a devil that don't know gargoyles, but Edmund guards the front of the property. And then here we have, this is actually based on the Kiddish game. And this is not Kiddish. This is actually a compass. And these numbers on the bottom are our actual location of where our house is. That's just me doing step 1 and then step 2 with the post. And this is the part that sticks out on the streets. Everybody sees this. And the crow is the entrance to our home. And I think that's it. So a red shoulder hawk, what kind of paint? A red shoulder hawk, what kind of paint? I didn't paint you mean this guy? I don't know, somebody asked. That wasn't painted. That was like the real deal hawk. So I'm not sure if that's what you had.
No. Oops. Am I allowed to talk?
Well, not yet. So
Later.
I just wanted to say, if anybody has any chat questions, we can address them on now. If not, I'm going to stop recording. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm also going to